Recorded in progress means welcome to That Shooting Show. My name's Steve Anderson. I am your humble host. Need to remind you that self-image is not ego. Self-image is my confidence in my abilities. Ego would be my need or desire to look or feel important. Right? So I am the best instructor on the planet. I'm a small handful, but I am not the most important person in the room, not the most important person on the call. The most important person on the call, short term, is the arsonist, Mike Haynes. How you doing, brother?
Hey, doing great, Steve. Doing great. Glad to be here.
The most important person is Ham. How you doing, Ham?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Do you want to state your full name for the record or just go by Ham?
Ham's fine.
Ham is fine. And of course, our Grandmaster, Nick Reynolds. How are we doing, Nick?
Good. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great. Man, you look like such a rock star right now.
Trying to. I just got done changing my oil, and Ford, in all their wisdom, decided to put 6 quarts in their oil pan instead of the 5. So I just got a 5-jug oil quart thing. So I need to go get another one. So here we are.
Now, wait a second. Can you drive to get the 6th quart with the 5 that you already have, or are you stuck?
Oh, no. I have 5 in there. I have enough to make it down the street to go get a quart. It's just annoying because they only sell it in 5-quart jugs when they want 6. So what are you going to do?
So I have to tell you guys what just happened to me. So you guys know I had a blood clot in my leg and I almost died, right?
Yeah.
And now you know that my best friend in the world has to fight for her life every single day. Okay. And do you know that I recently found out that my ex-wife euthanized my dog and didn't tell me?
Wow.
Yeah,
right. So I'm a little raw. Like I'm literally John Wick right now. And so and I'm out of my Eliquis blood thinner medication. So I called and finagled them to start my insurance early. I got that done. Big win. And then I got the $10 copay card. And then I'm taking all of my new prize, like Stevie's got health insurance. Stevie has I have paperwork now. I'm like a real human being. So I go to the pharmacy, like, yeah, you need prior authorization. They're denying this claim. And I said, okay, what about the $10 copay? Well, that doesn't work if your insurance denies the claim. That's a secondary thing. And I said, so let me get this straight. I got insurance, but it doesn't work. And then now my copay card doesn't work, and the medication is $800. And I'm now missed 2 doses. So I'm like, how are we going to solve this? You know? So I was on the phone in the Meijer store by the pharmacy. I was on the phone for 4 hours. And I'm making a little bit of progress. And finally I said, hey man, how much for 10 pills? He goes, $88. Okay, cool. So we basically had to do a drug deal in Meijer for cash to keep Steve Anderson alive, right? Then my roommate got tired of all this. So he took the truck and left me. And I said, it's cool. All good. I'll just walk over to Great Clips. I did not realize that Great Clips was a quarter mile away. I thought it was like 100 yards. Okay? So I've committed.
That's rough. I've seen you walk, Steve. That's rough.
I know. So now I'm committed to walking to Great Clips. And I was like, you know what? This is Kentucky. Somebody will give me a ride. Okay. So I hobble over to this guy putting his groceries in his car. And I'm like, hey, man, can I help you? And he goes, I do not speak the English very well. Please repeat yourself. And I was like, oh. I was like, hey, I need to go over there. Would you please drive me over there? He goes, of course, my friend, I will drive you anywhere. I said, can I give you some money? He goes, I will drive you wherever you need to go, and I will not take any money for it. Is the back seat comfortable enough for you, or shall I move the front seat to give you more leg room? And I'm like, I am experiencing so much love and kindness right now. You know what I mean? Like, I am such a blessed human being that I just feel like I'm shining rays of God's sun. And like, you can't kill this. You know what I mean? Like you can't do it. You could try, but you'll be unsuccessful. You know what I mean? And I also have a John Wick available too, because I'm feeling kind of raw, you know, but I choose to be God's flashlight instead of God's flamethrower. And speaking of flamethrowers, Mike Haynes, the arsonist. So Ham, tell us why you nicknamed him the arsonist.
Because he burns it down.
There we go.
And Mike, how do you do it?
I literally, you've said it about 1 million times probably, I literally put the dot on the target and let it go off. That's what I do.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
And so like everything that I do is counterintuitive to the old guard, right? I have new karma that's running over old dogma. And the old guard doesn't understand it because these things aren't supposed to work, right? Like alphas are supposed to be slow. That's why they're alphas. You know, training is supposed to be miserable. That's why it's training. I'm supposed to talk about my mistakes because that's how we get better. Like all of this stuff is so deeply entrenched. I forgive them. Like I literally forgive them for their ignorance because they don't know. They simply don't know. You know, I was on the phone with another instructor, and we were talking about the 4-minute mile, right? And this instructor says, well, you know, what's interesting is there was a time, and Mike, you might know, what year did they think the 4-minute mile was impossible? Do you have any idea roughly when that was?
I don't know if that was 40s or 50s. I don't know.
Okay, so in that time frame somewhere.
That's my guess.
Let's say it was 1950. Okay.
Okay.
They just decided that a human being can't do that. And so nobody did it. And then somebody, what do you think it was, like a 359 or 358? Probably pretty close.
Something there.
Yeah. But
And
they didn't
then-
bother to tell him he couldn't do it.
And all of a sudden, everybody began doing it. And this instructor pointed out to me that I ran the first 4-minute mile because when I made GM, it was thought that only a professional could do it. It was thought that it took 10 years and 1,000,000 rounds to make master. And if after 10 years and 1,000,000 rounds you get to master, be happy because an average human cannot make grandmaster. But I did it. I was the first one in Ohio, and I did it with speed mode practice. Right? It took me 9 months from A-class production to open grandmaster in 9 months. And I never shot more than 300 rounds a week, ever, for never. So I don't know how many rounds that is, but it ain't 1,000,000, right? So we're going to come back to speed mode training, but that new karma, the old guard won't accept it because it took them 20 years and they want it to take you 20 years because it took them 20 years. They don't like it, right? Because you're challenging the efficacy. I think it's efficacy. You're challenging the premise that accuracy must be slow and that speed must be sloppy, right? And the conscious control of speed is the biggest mistake in the sport. And Mike, actually, you guys all learned that. Ham, whenever you got in a hurry, you didn't shoot very well.
No, I shot like crap.
Right. But you saw dot lift for the first time, my friend. How great was
Yeah.
that?
It was awesome, man. Yeah, it was really good.
And you've been shooting for a long time. Do you mind telling us your background?
Well, I'm a
You don't have to if
Marine.
you don't want to.
Well, I'm a Marine Corps veteran, and I was a police officer for 32 years.
So you've shot some guns.
I've shot a lot of guns.
Mm-hmm. And Hank, I'm sorry, Ham, it's not your fault because nobody knew.
Well, I know.
Like you were probably there for this, weren't you? The
Well,
Weaver.
the funny thing is about it, Steve, is I've been to all the top gun schools in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, this is my. Well, I started this stuff in going to. My first class was Mass Ayoub's class in 1988, and I think your class this past weekend was like number 35 or 36.
Wow.
Yeah,
You've been to 36 classes, including Mas Ayoub?
yeah. Mass Ayoub. I've been to gun site, old gun site, new gun site. Been to Chapman Academy, Chuck Taylor, Clint Smith a couple times.
I know him. I know of him.
Yeah. A
So
bunch of others I
Mike,
probably-
so Mike or Nick, there's a question that we need to ask him that I can't ask him because I'll be accused of a snake oil used car salesman and like this whole thing has been set up. Nick, do you know the question that he needs to be asked?
Yeah, roughly. I mean, what was the light bulb moment?
the light bulb moment was when Steve was talking about, when you're behind a gun with the red dot and like my voice in my head is saying, pull the trigger faster, pull the trigger faster. And you perceive it as being slow. But if you take that extra split second to make sure the dot is centered on the target, it's actually way faster. And so when I did that plate rack and I went 6 for 6 that first time, that's what I did. I was like, oh, I'm going to give it an extra second, extra split second on each. And bing, 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 bing. And it was really fast. And I was like, that's fast for me anyway.
Dude, it was fast. But
Yeah.
guys, here's what we've got. We've got to let in. So Ham, that's a little tiny fragment of the conscious control of speed.
Right.
And letting go of that and shooting when the dot is acceptable on the target, when you're shooting for score, is always going to be the right speed.
Yeah.
And here's another thing that the old guard does not understand, Mike and Nick. They think they're always shooting for score.
Yeah, no, that's even in my training, I always, if it's not before every run, it's definitely numbers of times in the session. I will say, okay, what is success? Like I will define success based on what I am trying to do. And that changes. Like that changes. If I identify an area of opportunity, then I will work on that, and it will be success for that. And I'm good and able to exclude everything else. Like I don't need to do everything all at once. You kind of, I think of it as like you're like expanding the borders in your room by doing nudges a little bit at a time around the wall. And then after a while, that whole wall, that whole room is bigger. That's kind of the way that I think about it. That's me personally. And Nick, chime in here, but that's.
Well, I call that LOHF, limit of human function. Okay. You know how to shoot 6 alphas at 7 yards. Like you can do that. Right. But if somebody, so like in Ham's case, I don't remember what your build drill was, but you can shoot 6 alphas, can't you? Of course you can.
Yeah.
But you may want to be able to do that faster. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say you're at 250 with all alphas. That is phenomenal. If you want to do a 249 or a 230, it might not be 6 alphas. And that's okay. Right? Because it feels so different. Right? And the other coach I was talking to said that they take runners and they put them in a harness and they put them on a treadmill at a speed they've never run before. They take swimmers and they put them in a current of some kind. I don't know how it works, to force them to swim faster than they've ever swam before, right? Because everybody has a speed to do the thing, right? And we need to experience what it feels like. Now, Nick, you got to race Mike for 2 days straight. You're a grandmaster. How long have you been a grandmaster?
Man, it's probably been 2025, probably 7 years, I think.
Cool.
Something like that. Yeah, because, geez, COVID was 2020. That seems like it was a year ago. So yeah, it's probably been about 7 or 8 years, something like that.
Now, something that I have been made aware of recently is that if USPSA calculates your classification and decides that you're a grandmaster, you might not really be one. Like this is a new idea for me, and I'm trying to figure out how this works. But I think that if USPSA does the math and they declare you to be a GM, does that make you a grandmaster, or could that be untrue somehow?
Yeah. I mean, whenever I first made GM, I know that I didn't shoot consistently like a GM probably for the first 2 or 3 years until I started to figure it out. I was kind of beating my head up against the wall and saying, if I keep shooting live rounds and I keep doing this, like I will get faster. And I did, but I mean that there's an easier road to success.
Well, perhaps my question was a little bit too obtuse and clouded in secrecy. Mike, are you a masterclass shooter?
Yes.
Okay. If somebody says you're not somehow, like they just decide, oh, he's not a masterclass shooter. Does your USPSA, like, is that real data? Or can somebody decide it's not true?
No, I mean, it's real data. Like I shot the classifiers and they said I've got an M. Like that's where I'm at. That's what they said I'm at right now.
All right, so let's go back to Nick right now. My question is still way too obtuse. I guess what I'm saying is there are people in the internet that have the ability to say that you're not really a master or a GM. And I didn't know that was a thing. Like I didn't know that it had to be decided by a random internet guy. Oh yeah, I approve. Okay, like it's got to get signed off by some guy. Like I didn't know that was a thing. Right. So apparently you have to get your GM card and send it off to some random internet guy. So you, oh yes, I agree. I concur. You okay, it's good. All right, Nick. So Mike, you're a little bit tailored for excellence, and Nick, you're a little bit more tailored for victory, right? There's two kinds of shooters: those that want to shoot well and place well, and those that need to win. Nick is in the need to win camp. Mike likes to win, but he doesn't need it for his barren soul, right? Like he still has a normal heart. Nick has a heart made of coal that requires victory to keep it burning, right? So Nick, when did you beat Mike and when did Mike beat you? What conditions were present?
I think it was on more of like the quote unquote speed stages, I guess, is when Mike beat me. I think it was on the stages where I overthought it, which would probably, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was all the smaller ones, I think. I'm
Maybe.
pretty sure.
But let's talk about the mental conditions, right?
Oh, mental conditions. Okay.
You said something to me in the truck. You actually took my Bible that I got from the hotel room that I had Chuck sign for me, and you opened it up to, I think it was Solomon. Maybe I think you opened it up to, and then you told me something about your shooting career that really moved you. Do you remember that?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, tell me about that.
So, if you're not religious, take a book that meant something to you that changed your life, right? So let's just say, right now I'm 38 years old, and if I read a passage in Matthew, the first chapter, right, that's going to apply to my life in some way, shape, or form to what I'm going through right now. But if I go back and reread that exact same chapter 5 or 6 months from now, I'm in a totally different spot in life. So that's going to apply to me in a different way because of where I'm at in life. So I've taken your classes. I think this might be my third or fourth class. But every time that I've taken your class, I've been in a different shooting journey than where I was at before. So it's not that yes, you are saying roughly the same thing with some tweaks, but I'm in a different spot shooting wise, so that's relating to me differently than what it was previously.
But that's so yes, you did say those things. What I would like to hear you talk about is your reduced level of participation and what versus what you think now.
Yeah. So just like I said earlier, when I first made GM, I thought I had to dedicate, especially going to the range. Like I was going to the range twice a week and then shooting a match on the weekends. Now I have 2 kids. That's not happening. I can't do that. So what has been taught to me through the mental management part that makes sense is more working on your mental game, and you don't need live fire reps to make that happen. That's all done through self-image and particularly just a shooting journal. And by shooting, it's not just going to the range is nice and writing a shooting journal, but your dry fire shooting journal is also something that you can do at home. I mean, this is something that, when the kids go to bed, go down for 45 minutes to an hour and wake up an hour before you go to work and put some time in. I mean, maybe not an hour, maybe even if it's 15, 20 minutes, just putting the rig on and just doing something that you deem is valuable. And then in particular, writing it down in your journal and creating your self-image based off of the things that you learned in your dry fire and your live fire. And I don't want to say unfortunately, because kids are awesome, but I can't go to the range as much. So I need to really rely on my dry fire journal to help boost my self-image so I can go to matches and perform at my best and better than where I'm at, last year.
You want to know what's really interesting? I stared mortality in the face a month ago. The regrets that I like, so you start thinking about it, right? Like what is my legacy? As I look back on my life, I did not regret a day of not dry firing. I did not, and I might get emotional because I can feel it coming. I did not regret, you know, I didn't say, oh, I really wish I would have worked more free overtime when I was on salary. Like I didn't, those weren't my regrets. My regrets were the times that I was unkind to people. And my other regret was the times I allowed people to disrespect me without standing up for myself. Those were my two regrets, right? So moving forward, I'm going to be kinder to people all the time. And I'm going to stand up for myself when I feel like I'm being disrespected because I'm worthy of respect, you know? And I didn't tell you guys this, but I learned literally a week and a half ago that if I make a mistake, I'm still entitled to respect. I didn't know that. I literally thought that if I made a mistake, I deserved to be deleted from that person's life or however they wanted to treat me for the rest of their lives. I thought I deserved that. I didn't know. Right? I simply didn't know. And the point I'm trying to make is there's a lot of new ideas at a Steve Anderson class. There's a lot of things that are counterintuitive. You guys remember the group shooting?
Yep.
Yeah.
Ham, you've been shooting guns for a long time. How counterintuitive was it to not try to stop the dot?
Well, it was awesome because you said that about when we were doing it one-handed and loosen up my grip because I've been death gripping that thing for a decade. And we shot it with a very loose grip, and I was like, "This guy is nuts." And I shot the best group I ever shot.
Right. And so the
They were
takeaway,
right in the same hole. They were in the same hole.
right.
I was like, goodness.
The takeaway is not Anderson says you should shoot with a loose grip. The takeaway is if you death grip that gun, okay, this becomes non-malleable. So now this has got all this tension in it, right? And you can't operate the trigger smoothly with all this tension, okay? But if we loosen up the grip, which is one-handed, just enough that this finger can move independently, we can make some magic, right? Now, we were group shooting, which is an isolated exercise. So group shooting is not the same thing as shooting a stage. And Hank, Ham, I listen to this. I'm apologizing for not getting his comedy nickname right. But Ham,
It doesn't matter.
when we shot the classifier stage that had the one-handed shooting, that was a little bit more grip than you were using in group shooting, right? A little bit more, because when you're shooting quote unquote at speed for score, you might need a little bit more grip, but the takeaway is still the same. Anytime you death grip the gun with the hand that's firing the gun, this finger starts wanting to do violence instead of gentleness. Okay, and I want to tell you, so I think we had every class represented. We had Carolyn D class. Ham, you're probably unclassified. But
I don't know. I'm trying. I got to pay for it before I can get in there and see what I am. But
between Tony and Chuck and Steve, Revolver Steve, how much fun was that? Right? Wasn't it cool to watch a Steve on Steve revolver shoot off and Steve won? That was so cool, right? And what I love about revolvers is a revolver is the most realistic dry fire gun on the planet. But what was really fun for me was reminding people that, hey, Anderson knows shooting things too, right? Like I am the mental management guru, but I still know shooting things because I was there when these new ideas were being developed. I was there when Brian Enos taught us how to call our shots, right? I was there for the formation of some of this new dogma. Some of this new karma. Like I was there for that. I participated in that. In the early days of the Enos forums, there were like 50 of us. And we were all obsessed with the same thing. What's the secret? What's the secret? What's the secret? And now you guys know the secret. Mike, you know the secret. Do you know that you know it?
I do. Now I do.
What is it?
It's put the dot in the middle of the target and trust yourself. That's
When you're shooting for score, absolutely.
yeah, when I'm competing.
Right.
When I'm competing.
Mhm. And if somebody is using their local matches as shooting practice, they're not practicing competing. So they go to an important match and they don't know what to do. Right? They haven't practiced their process. Like the reason that shooting local matches for shooting practice is not smart is because you don't do anything enough to be practice. You're going to do 6 draws. That is not practice. You know what I mean? Now, Mike, I did recommend that you start going to Steel Challenge matches.
Yep. Because
you can practice competing, right? You also get used to the pressure of having to do 4 reshoots.
Yes. So that's the way that I like to look at locals is practice competing is the way that like is the routine, like learning how to handle the pressure. That's what I love about the locals. And I'm still in a place where I'm learning still. And so I just gather everything that I can.
So let me
that never stops. You'll be learning the rest of your life.
Right.
I mean,
Dude.
I learned stuff.
Go ahead, Ham. Finish.
I learned a lot of stuff in it. Well, like I said, I've had the 30-some classes, and usually in a class, I learned 1 or 2 things. I think I learned at least a half a dozen in your class.
Dude, I was there. So I always keep track of guys like you, Ham, because you're a soldier, you're a cop, you've been exposed to decades of this dogma that was real, like it worked for a while. Okay. But when are we going to think about trying something different? Are we ever going to do that? Or are we just gonna hold the Weaver and double tap on one sight picture until firearms are no longer a thing? Like, is that really what we're gonna do? Could there maybe be a better way? Like, could we take an acoustic guitar, put a pickup on it, and plug it in, and then could we maybe use both fingers on it? Like, could we try these things? Who knows? Maybe there's no rules. So here's how I define the secret. Okay. In competition, USPSA specifically create a subconscious stage plan with positive imprints and then shoot with a singular focus. That's the secret to performance. Okay. At the match. Okay. If you're consciously controlling your speed, you are making an error. I promise. Anybody who's saying speed up will make an error. Anybody who's saying slow down will simply be too slow. Right. And Ham, that's pretty radical, isn't it? To not try to go fast.
Yes, it's very radical because I mean, your perception when you're shooting, it feels really slow, but it's not.
Right. And people that don't understand mental management will luck into that at times, and they think it's this happy little accident. Boy, I was in the zone that time. I was in the flow state. I was just letting it be. Well, and so here's what they do. They don't document it. Instead, they do the old guard thing. I'm going to make a record of my mistakes because if I don't, I ain't going to learn nothing. But they don't learn from their successes how to duplicate it. Right? I got accused of gentle parenting. Okay. And what that guy is saying is, you're just going to pat me on the butt, call me a good boy, and send me on my way. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say, you are capable of doing better, and here's how.
That person has obviously never taken your class, Steve, because you are correctly insistent on us in the class, and it's great.
Right. And poor Nick has to unlearn a lifetime of not thinking about things. Like, he said it 20 times. And Nick, I'm sorry if I irritated you, but 20 times he said, I can't think about it. I can't think about it. I'm like, dude, what you're attempting to do is not possible. I need you to think about something else. And brother, I knew you were gonna whiff that reload. I knew it, because you were trying not to think about it, and that doesn't work.
Yeah, Steve, like you said, just watching these 2 guys, you could tell when they were going to whip it, and you could also tell when they were going to when the arsonist burned it down, and then I'm sorry, I don't know the other guy's name. Nick. Now he finally got serious because I think shooters, they're equal. They're exactly equal
Yep.
shooting.
Mm-hmm.
But Nick wasn't a competitor, and then when he decided to compete, I mean, that closed the gap. You know, you see when the light bulb went on for both of them. You
Yep.
know,
So I will tell you guys, I couldn't place a bet on either one of you.
no, you'd lose your money.
I wouldn't, but if I could wait until I watched you both make ready, then I could place a bet.
Oh, I believe that. I believe that.
Right? If I could wait, because arsonists, you do this awesome thing. Go ahead and do it once for us. Go ahead and do it.
I'm like, hang on. I'm like, all right, wait.
Yeah.
And my eyes are closed. I'm not seeing anything. Like,
I know.
There could be atomic bombs behind me. I see nothing. Like
I love that. I love this. I love this so much.
And I get picked on, and that's totally fine. Like, I don't think about that. Like, that's my routine, and like I have burned that in. Anybody that shoots with me knows that.
By the way,
What's about your weird grip?
oh yes, we'll talk about that in a minute. Do you have a gun handy, Mike?
I do not.
Can you get one?
Yes, I can.
Yeah,
Please run out.
Yeah, please do.
I just
By the way,
how it came about.
If you ever inquire about health insurance, you need to change your phone number because it's bad. Like I have gotten thousands. And the do not call list doesn't mean do not text. I did not know that.
Well, you know what, Steve? This is what you do to play a prank on certain people.
I remember that.
You find that phone number and you start sending it not only to healthcare people but colleges also. And they will sell that info to everybody. And you have to change your phone number.
Isn't that?
It's funny.
Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it too.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have anybody that I want to prank like that. But if I ever think of one, I might do that.
Funny.
Yeah, yeah. And so what's interesting is I'm just famous enough to not really want to give my phone number out because some people are disrespectful. Like sometimes I'll get like 11 p.m. text messages, and I'm like, "Come on, man, let's like what are we doing?" You know?
Yeah, no, I get it.
But yeah, I mean, I'll give my phone number to just about anybody, but we may have to have a conversation about what's appropriate at some point.
Right.
You know? All right, so Nick, I want to talk to you just a little bit more, and then we'll go back and we'll look at Mike's grip. You like this is a serious question, okay? Whenever you would shoot a stage without a singular focus on the dot in the middle of the target, what kinds of things would you be thinking about while you were shooting?
So, man, I've been doing, and with the singular focus, I've been doing that for so long, and the focus has been wrong. So I have to go back really, really far. I think it was just go fast. Yeah. I was trying to figure it out, and at that time, Max Michel was still on a crazy tear with his open gun, and I thought that there's no way that this dude's seeing his dot twice on the second shot.
People think that. Yes.
I think I can do that, and I've always shot limited. And granted, his open gun doesn't move when you pull the trigger. I'm dealing with major power factor with the gun recoiling like crazy. So I'm just trying to imitate that, and that didn't work at all. Shooting steel was terrible.
Hey Nick, what is the key to going 1-for-1 on steel?
You have to control the steel, control the match. Put the dot in the center of the piece of steel and pull the trigger.
Are you sure?
100%.
What if I'm tired? Will it still work?
Yes.
What if it's the first stage and I have the jitters? Will it still work?
Your open gun can blow up in your hand, and you can switch hands and still pull the trigger with your pinky. And as long as that dot is still in the center of the piece of steel, it's going to go down.
But wait, hang on. Won't that be slow though? If I actually put the dot in the middle, won't it be slow?
No. I mean, even if you have a makeup shot and I'm following up behind you and there's 10 pieces of steel, I'm going to go 1-for-1. And even if you shot them fast, but you shot 12 shots, I'm going to beat you because I'm going to shoot 2 less shots.
Yeah. There's the guy that has to win. I love it. So I wonder, Ham, could you come up with a nickname for Nick that is anywhere near as cool as the Arsonist?
Oh, let me see. What's Nick's last name?
Sarah.
Reynolds?
Huh?
Sarah.
Reynolds?
Sarah?
Wait,
Oh,
what? Your last name's not Reynolds?
No. He asked what my wife's name was.
Oh, okay.
no, I want to know what your last name was.
Oh, last
Sorry.
name. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Reynolds.
Huh? Reynolds?
Reynolds,
Nick
yes.
Reynolds. Well, let's keep going and I'll think of something, okay?
All right.
All right, Nick Reynolds. Hmm.
Reynolds?
I'm
Brad?
thinking like the Raider, Nick the Raider.
Ooh, the
Reynolds.
Raider. The Arsonist and the okay. So all right. So we'll come back to him
That's what comes off the top of my head right now. I mean,
now. So you two are by far the fastest shooters that we had in class. Okay. And Nick, I'm going to ask you a question a little bit later. So I'm gonna go ahead and prep it. I'll ask both of you. What can a grandmaster learn from Steve Anderson? And Mike, what can a master class shooter learn from Steve Anderson? I'm going to ask you that. And I'm looking for technical things, right? Because the old guard will grudgingly admit, like they don't want to do it, but they will. The old guard will, oh, okay, Anderson knows the mentality, but can he shoot? That's what, well, he can beat a revolver guy with his own revolver, never having shot the gun before, right? He can teach Mike how to completely transform his transitions. Now, Nick, there's not a lot I can teach you about the gun, but I can help you get access to it, right? If you blow a reload, that is not technical. And in the past, you might have thought it was. But you blowing a reload is not a technical problem. That's 100% mental, right? So, okay, where was I going before I did that? You guys raced each other, master, grandmaster. Where was I going before I asked you that question? I don't remember.
Mike's grip.
Oh, yes, Mike's grip. Let's go to
Mike's crazy grip.
We're going to see it?
Yeah, let's see it.
Let's see if I can get here. All right, we are good. So, right hand, I have a thumb rest. Let's see if we can do this here and get it. So when I shoot, this is my grip. I'm trying to get it. So this is my left index finger. Yeah. So when I shoot, there we go. This is how it looks. This is just kind of hanging out. It's not flopping. It's pressing up against the bottom.
Interesting.
And so what I do is my thumb is here. This is my thumb on top. I squeeze down on the thumb rest with my thumb, and I press up on the bottom of the frame with my index finger. And that kind of makes a wedge. And then my other three fingers pull that back in. So that's what I do. And I naturally went into that. I didn't try to do it. That just came out. It felt awkward to put all four down below. And then Steve saw it and he's like, "That's weird, Mike. Why do you do that?" And I was like, "I don't know." It just kind of naturally went into that. I tend to be intuitive in my movement, in my shooting. Like I just do what feels right. I didn't learn that or study it. But that is the grip.
Yeah. So, and we did consult another coach on that, and we had a conversation about it in the car. And the consensus is you're doing great, and we're in the season. I would recommend, as did the other coach we were consulting, I would recommend at some point in the off season, we do a little bit of A/B work just to see if there's any meat on the bone, Yep. But I certainly would not advocate a dramatic change. Like there are instructors out there that would literally tell you that grip is stupid and dumb and you need to change it before your next match. That would be horrific advice. Like there are people out there that would say you need to do this at nationals tomorrow. That would be horrific advice.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've got so much dry fire with that it's gonna, if I choose to undo it, I can do that. It'll take time though.
And you need to be 100% sure the change is warranted.
Yep.
Right? Because wouldn't it be fun? Like let's say Nick, for example, said, "Dude," and you guys hadn't met before, right? Mike and Nick.
No, I hadn't met Nick.
Cool. So like just imagine if Nick's, I know where I was going. Nick, remind me, the dragon. Just remind me about the dragon here in a minute. So just imagine, Mike, if Nick had said to you, hey, look, man, I know we just met. I'm a GM. I got to tell you, that grip, that is unworkable. Like that's a disaster. And then what if you beat him with your disaster grip? Like, how great would that be? You know? So it is a lot of fun to beat people doing something counterintuitive, right? It's really, really fun. But so on our very first stage of the day, you guys both got beat by the dragon. He was an 8 hit factor, and you guys were like 6'5". I don't remember who was 2 and 3, but there was like a 1.5 hit factors. Okay.
Yeah.
How did he do it?
He started to believe.
Yeah. You put the dot in the center of the target.
Oh my goodness, Ham can teach the rest of the class. So in competition, it must be that simple. If you are thinking about anything other than putting now there are exceptions to this, and we'll come back to that in a minute. But for 99% of shooters, 99% of the time, putting the dot in the middle of the target with positive imprints, gentle parenting, you got to be a gentle parent, right? With positive imprints will provide the best performance you're capable of on that day. And Dragon is not a better shooter than either one of you guys, but on that stage, he was a vastly better competitor.
Yeah.
And that's who wins, right? It is easy to become a great shooter. It's easy to do. It's just reps.
And that's what I really enjoyed and took away from the range class, was that there is a technical portion of shooting, and we all like that. We all like gun handling. We all like going to the range, and there is a huge technical portion to it.
Of course.
But by not recognizing the mental portion of it, it's like it's the flat tire analogy. You've got a car with a flat tire, and you've got 3 pretty good tires that you just keep fussing with, but you've got a flat tire. Fix the flat tire. That's the analogy. And it took me, there was a run that I came and I believed it, and it took that. I'd listened to your podcast for a year, and you're like, hey, put the dot in the middle of the target. I'm like, yep, I'm doing that. But you really have to believe it. And then once you just accept and do it, that's what you're doing.
So here's what's interesting about that. Shooters like Nick, you needed a big win to believe in the simplicity. Dragon needed to beat you guys to believe it. Dragon wasn't feeling very good, right? So if we could design the perfect conditions for Dragon's human body, this was not it. He was cold. He wasn't feeling good. I'm not even sure if he wanted to be there. But
he almost didn't come.
Right. He chose to surrender to what I've asked him to do for a long, long time. And he won. That's what has to happen, right? So when shooters get to this place, what keeps them from being there is they're still not happy. And this dissatisfaction with the result. So let's say my process was 100%, but I'm mad at the result. I am going to overtry at my next competition. I'm going to do that, right? Because the reason shooters stay in the middle of the pack is they're never happy. Even when they win, they're not happy. They're not happy. So there's always a negative. So there's always this not good enough, not good enough, not good enough, right? Does that sound familiar, Ham? It's never good enough, like your generation. Nothing's ever good enough. Never good enough. Now, curiously, Ham, in a team environment such as the military, that can be successful. Meaning, if you feel like a maggot and you're never good enough, you're still going to die before you let your brother die, right? You're still going to give everything you've got.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right. Even if you feel work now, but if you're by yourself, you may not find that extra strength.
Right.
Because you secretly believe you're no good, right?
Yeah.
You might just give up. You know what I mean? You might.
Yeah.
And I don't like to talk about military stuff too much because I'm obviously not a vet. You can tell by my clothes, I'm a little bit more interested in rock and roll than I am the military. Now, Dragon beats you guys by being a better competitor. Nick, did that kind of irritate you a little bit when Dragon beats you because you're a vastly faster shooter?
Yeah, but I also understood the importance for both him and myself of that happening. So it was good.
And Mike, you got beat by Carol later in
Sure did.
And I told you you'd be tempted. Didn't I tell you? I
Yep.
said, you are gonna be tempted to stray from this.
Yep.
And I'm so glad that Carol beat you when you strayed.
Yep.
Right?
She
Because
totally deserved it. She did great. And I didn't stick to it. Like I gave her a big hug. That was awesome.
so like if Nick beats you when you stray, that's one thing. But when a lady who's been in D class for 4 years beats the arsonist with process, and because you strayed, you gave it to her, that needed to happen to you.
Yep.
And this is not disparaging towards her in any way. I'm just saying you should beat a D class 68-year-old woman. Like that should be a thing you can do. You know what I mean? Right. On a pretty regular basis. Nothing against her, right? It's just apples and oranges, right?
Yeah.
And speaking of Carol, let's watch Carol's video. Okay. So we're going to talk about Carol's speed mode situation here in just a minute. But first, I want people to see that the lady that I abused by helping her get a first shot under a second for the first time in her life, so some people might think that we spent 2 days doing that. We spent 10 minutes doing that. Let's see what she learned for the other, 15 hours and 15 minutes of class. Okay, check this out.
In D class for 4 years because of negative imprints. We're gonna fix it.
Yeah! Look at her go. Nice. Makeup. I got you. Look at that little dainty run. Hop, 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 hop. Excellent.
More aggressively there.
Yeah. Little burst of speed.
Little burst of speed there. Yeah, good job.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
So somebody right now is screaming at their computer. Anderson doesn't know what he's talking about. Look at all those technical problems. Look at all that low-hanging fruit. What they don't understand is that until Carol can go through that entire stage with her dot in the middle of the target, we won't even know what she needs to work on because we'll have 7 mics. You know what I mean? Like we won't know. Like it began. Oh, this is brilliant. It literally begins and ends with the dot in the middle of the target. That is massive, right? So sure, Carol has a lot of technical opportunities, but this was a clean run, as I recall, was it not? Wasn't it a clean run?
I recall that was clean.
Right. No mics. I'm sure there was no mics. Okay. But until she can do that, what good does it do for me to point out, oh, by the way, you're taking this a little bit too far back, right? Oh, by the way, I think you need to be moving through here a little bit more. Oh, by the way, she was looking over her shoulder at one of the shots, right there. You see it? She shot and she's looking at the target. You see that? Okay, so I see all of those things. I see all of it. And those are opportunities for her. But it doesn't matter until she can put the dot in the middle of the target. Because we are shooting for score, right? So like you could take her speed mode exercise and say, oh, Anderson's advocating just for blasting from the hip. Well, I was for 10 minutes. I was, right? Now, Ham, did you observe anything unsafe ever at all when Carol was doing that sub-second shot?
No, not at all.
And how many people were watching her?
Oh, like a dozen at least.
Yeah. And weren't we all solely focused on her safety?
Oh, most definitely, yes.
And Ham, if you had seen anything remotely unsafe, how long would it have taken for you to stop that exercise?
Well, everybody would have stopped it.
Right. Right. And
It's
didn't you
everybody's
guys
job.
notice that I kept looking over my shoulder? And I remember every single person, Tony was like, go, 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 go. Should we keep going? Should we keep going? Now, here's something that not everybody knows that watched that video. Okay. There was a lot of muzzle flip when she was doing that, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And
There
that's,
was.
there was a ton of muzzle flip, but Ham, boom. Okay. Is there a bullet still in the barrel at this time?
I can't see
Boom.
it. You're
Muzzle
No.
flip. The bullet's gone.
yeah, the bullet's gone. Yeah.
Right. By definition, the muzzle flip means the bullet has left the barrel, because if the bullet hadn't left the barrel, it would look like this. Right? So, boom, bullet's gone. This is not a problem if you're shooting one shot. That's why we were shooting one shot. Boom. It doesn't matter what the gun does. The bullet's gone. Right? And people don't know that. It's just crazy. We don't understand basic firearms. Oh, and speaking, gentlemen, of this, what happens to the dot when that happens? It begins to lift.
Live. You watch it. Live.
When and I wish we had a dot gun. Guys, there are literally probably 300 guns in this room. Like, okay, so here's something people don't see. This is a Kunin 357 Magnum semi-automatic.
That's cool.
You will never, ever put your hands on one of these, right? But even this one, okay, I'm on target, boom, the front sight's going to begin to lift, okay? Now, here's something that'll really bake your noodle. And Mike, I know you'll try this. Oh, look at this. Internet trolls, get ready. Anderson's gonna point the gun at his Zoom call participants. Oh no, do you guys feel flagged right now? Like, is this...
Oh my God.
I watched Anderson do an online call. He literally pointed his gun at his students. Well, number one, I don't use that term. Number two, I think it's okay. I'm pretty sure I'm pointing the gun at my computer. Ham, does this look, I know it looks unsafe because you're seeing the muzzle, but guys, if you will go out and take a target stick and push the target stick into the ground as hard as you can and capture that feeling, I'm not sure what muscle that would be. Mike, do you know?
If it's on the back of your arms, that's the trap, I think.
Okay.
Trap.
So,
Okay.
and then you put a gun
Okay.
in your hands and you mimic that feeling, the front and rear sight will go up and down at the same time. It's the weirdest thing.
Oh,
Like, instead of doing this, the gun goes this.
really?
Oh, it's so weird. Go out and try it. It's so weird. Now, obviously, I haven't tried that with a dot gun in a very long time, but I think it's safe to assume there would be less dot rise, or it would be different, maybe more predictable. Right? So just try it. Okay. All right. So that's Carol's run. Oh God. Oh, whoa. That was scary. Knock over 17 guns here. All right, let's see what else we got. Oh, this might, oh, okay. This might be your transitions, Mike. Let's take a look.
Oh, I would love to see the.
So that's the old way.
Shot. What was the first shot? Bottom left.
.72.
Woo!
Okay, 0.72.
Yep.
Surely that first round went into the dirt. There's no way that 17. Oh, it did hit the target. Oh, because we scored the target. I forgot we were scoring targets. Oh, how could I? God, I'm getting so old, man. I just can't remember. We were actually scoring targets. Who knew?
2. Okay. Don't announce the overall time. Okay.
All right, so that's the old way. Did anybody catch that time? I don't think we did. Maybe this is it. Because you do use some bad language that you need to apologize for, Mike, when you
I
get
do. I'll apologize in advance.
Without idea.
I'll take a beep.
Yes.
So this is after the guy who clearly doesn't know anything about shooting and only knows mental game. This is after that moron helped you with your transitions. Like, what an idiot. Who would pay for a class with this guy? He just doesn't know what he's talking about. Let's check it out.
Yeah. Anyway, go.
that idea with a little bit more visual patience.
Yes.
Okay, show me.
I think this is it. And we're gonna see the.
So what I'm asking him to do, I only ask my upper level, well, I ask everybody to do it. I only
this video,
expect my upper level shooters to do it. I'm asking him to shoot alphas without slowing down. You
Okay,
understand that?
so the old guard doesn't understand that, do they, Ham? When
No,
I ask somebody to shoot alphas without slowing down, that sounds crazy, doesn't it?
yeah, it sounds crazy, but it actually works.
It actually works. There's no need to put a speed. Oh, write this down. There is no need, Nick, to put a speed limit on your alphas. Oh my goodness. And
It's the
Nick, I know I have
Audubon,
video of you here
Audubon,
too.
no
We're gonna
speed
talk about.
limit.
Okay, so now the standard is Alpha Charlie. Okay, no deltas, no Mike.
All right, Anderson's letting them spray Charlies. Just go fast. What we're doing, if you'll bother to listen and stop hating me so much and pay attention for just a minute to the idea that I might have discovered something that's new and different, we're allowing alphas and Charlies. A delta or a Mike is unacceptable in this exercise. Well, everybody knows you got to shoot alphas. Shooting all alphas is too slow. Okay, check this out.
Okay.
People keep asking if I'm back. I'm thinking, yeah, I'm back.
Look at that log again. I'm gonna be getting into a shoe before too long. Had this boot for a month. Are you ready? Stand by.
Alpha Charlie. Well. You got the sensitivity. It's like
So look,
totally different.
and just look. The run with the Mike was a 233. I asked him to shoot out without slowing down. With the Charlie's pretty close. Yeah, see, Alpha's close Charlie's, those are green shots.
Wow.
And it only took you 1700. I think
So
that's
I
right.
did it.
250 was the clean run, 233 was the not clean run.
Wow.
That's the difference between going for broke and paying attention.
That's
So what is 50 minus 33? Is that 20?
Making stuff up, right? This old guy in the Walther hat, he's just making stuff up that he read on the internet along the way. Who is this guy?
Yeah,
Man.
that blew my mind. That blew
Yeah.
my mind. Like watching you do it at first, I didn't even know that was
Oh,
possible.
wait a second. Did I shoot a firearm effectively? Did you witness me firing a gun in a safe and effective way?
Indeed, Steve, I did.
Oh, did it look something like this?
Are you ready? Stand by.
Wait a second. Where did Steve Anderson go? And who is this guy? This guy can shoot. This isn't supposed to happen. Oh no, the whole narrative is ruined. He can shoot.
Are you ready? Stand by.
With a brilliant makeup shot. And that was the run that got you so excited. Mike came to me and said, I want to do that.
Yep.
And you did it. Now, Mike, this is one area where it actually works. Well, I don't know if it works better. It works so well in dry fire because you're not having to game your split anymore, right? You're using your split instead of faking it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I that's specifically this drill that we did. I've been incorporating in a dry fire since I've gotten back. Like I'm just geeking out on this. That's my technical geek out right now.
Wonderful. All right, the mighty Nick Reynolds. Let's see what this looks like. You see what he did? It was really smart there. Mike, did you catch it?
The video's lagging. I can't tell.
All right,
It's lagging on my end too.
that's fine. It's going to. It'll just give some people something to complain about. You know what I mean? They'll be like, well, the video didn't even work. So Anderson clearly can't even use a guy. Who is this guy? Okay, what an idiot. Okay. So I'll play it frame by frame. Can you guys see it now?
Yes.
Okay. So Mike, he wants to be, that's a great place to catch him. Okay. He wants to be moving on that, but there's no money in doing it all the way back there. Ham, that's what I was getting you on. Remember, there was a place where you could shoot while moving, but you were aiming your gun when you were 10 feet away. So what he does is he gets a burst of speed, so he's closer to the target, right? If he were to start shooting while moving right now, that would feel like I'm shooting while moving. Well, sure, but you're not doing it effectively enough, right? Now, again, gentle parenting is doing what's best for the child at that time. It isn't a blanket approach to let them do whatever they want, right? Let's check this out. Bam. Another great burst of speed. Ham, did you see the burst of speed?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Excellent. Very good.
Oh, look at that! Somebody get the fire extinguisher out, baby! Woo! We're committing arson in Pennsylvania. Call the fire department and the police and the Amish buggies and the water truck. Woo! 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 Fire! Fire! Fire!
Let's run.
I got these hand grenades right here. I'm gonna drop them on you. I swear.
So my class video actually got flagged for a copyright violation because I was singing that song.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
they actually recognized that's a Bob Schneider song called Hand Grenades. And I uploaded 4.5 hours of class and they heard me sing that song. I got flagged with a copyright violation, which means I sing that song so well that they could not tell it was copyright. All right, Nick, that was a monster run. Very, very nicely done.
Thank you.
All right, let's see who else we got here. This is Carol again. This is talking about dot lift. Let's see. I don't know what that is. I think so. What I tried to let me just for myself, Amos, let me just watch this one again. Hang on. Oops. Okay, Steve Anderson, a gun he's never shot before, in an orthopedic boot in the rain and cold. Here we go.
Are you ready? Stand by.
That makes me so happy. So happy. All right, guys, we've been at this a little over an hour. I would like to hear your takeaways. So give me one thing you saw for yourself and then one thing you saw in somebody else. Whoever wants to go first.
I'll take that. For myself, it was really committing to just put the dot on the target. And there's a scene in Godfather where Michael's talking to a bishop and he is like, I've been around religion my entire life. And the bishop is like, no, you're like the rock in the water right over there. Like there's water around you, but there's no water in the rock. And for me, like there was a run where I got it. And that was really impactful and powerful for me.
You got emotional.
And you can hear it, but that was me. And for somebody else, Nick, I think you do a brilliant job with the balancing the risk and reward of your stage plans. Like after I saw you shoot some stages, and this is technical, it's not mental, but like I was like, wow, I want to shoot that like Nick. Like there was one you did backwards of me and I was like, yep, that's the right way to do that. Like after I saw it, and I was impressed that you kind of always came up with those, what I would say would be the preferred way if I did it again. So
Can I add something to that?
What's that?
Can I add something to that? Can I add to that, please, on my own program? Can I say something real quick? Yeah. Okay. So people talk about match experience. So those kinds of things you can only get from shooting bigger matches, right? He's learned those things. Nick has. So Nick, I think I know about you that you went through a phase where you're going to pretty much every match you could find.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So here's the deal, Mike. At locals and nationals, you don't learn that kind of stuff because locals and nationals have to work. So locals have to be set up quickly. Nationals has to work for 500 shooters. So it's not going to be very gimmicky. But the state and area matches won't, Nick, you'll see all kinds of weird stuff at those matches, won't you?
Oh yeah, you want to see some weird stuff? Go to the Mid Atlantic sectional. They got all kinds of craziness going on.
But not nationals, because nationals, and I don't know if they don't want it to be gimmicky, or I think it's more about match flow, right? Because if you've got some weird prop and it jams up a stage, that's not good.
Yeah, yeah, match flow is good. I was gonna say it's failure is probably more likely to happen, but it's the same thing. It'll mess up match flow because you get some kind of weird door that starts up a mover on the left and then a sliding target on the right. That's not going to work 1,500 times.
Right, exactly. And Nick, let's have something that was big for you, and let's have something that was big for somebody else.
For me, it was self-image for sure. And that all goes back to a shooting journal, which I started doing that a couple of years ago, and it just tailed off because I wanted the success without working that hard for it, I guess, if that makes sense.
Dude, no, that's huge. So you wanted a national result without a national lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to put forth. I wanted to take steroids without going to the gym and think I'd still get muscles.
Now,
So
Nick,
that was my biggest takeaway. And I think Mike. Sorry, go ahead.
Second. This is so important. So there are people out there that think what you just said is for wimps. It actually starts with a P, and I'm not going to use that word, but you know which word I mean.
Yeah, I do.
That stuff is for okay. And you might have thought that too. Okay. But now you understand, right? So self-image sounds like a warm blanket with gentle parenting. But if you replace that with the word confidence, I think people understand that.
Yeah.
But the deal is, unless we call it self-image, people don't know how to build confidence. If they did, they would do it. The reason they're lacking confidence is because they're always reminding themselves of things that they can't do. Because they go to training, they can't do it. They can't do it because they're so hard on themselves and they'll let themselves be successful. Well, if you don't let yourself be successful, you will not have confidence. In mental management, we call it self-image because we know how to hack it now, don't we, Nick?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So wonderful. All right. So your biggest takeaway was self-image, and now you know how to fix it. What did you see in somebody else that really made you happy?
I'd say with Mike, learning how to go fast. Like you can't go fast unless you've gone fast. And the secret sauce is something that I've learned from you is that you have to be okay with poor hits, but you're teaching your body how to go fast.
Yeah, for a short period of time.
Right.
Guys, it's minutes. Now, that is actually best done in dry fire. However, Carol was already under a second in dry fire. She'd already been able to do that. So we know she has to shoot the gun, right? So that has to be done. And I would have stopped at 150 and taken the win until she did the 128, right? And then, okay. And then it was a 108. And I was like, oh my goodness, we could actually get this. Okay. And Ham, please describe the safety conditions one more time of that event.
100% safe. I mean,
Was there any evidence at any time of a round leaving the range?
no. Nick and I mean, he made sure that nobody was unsafe. I mean, he did a damn good job on that.
Nick, could you say with certainty that every single round hit the berm during that exercise?
Yeah, 100%. Then you also have to look at it like this: is that is the best range in a 100-mile area. That range is awesome. For handguns and rifles, that is the range that you want to go to. Me being a class sponsor for the class, I'm not going to risk something happening and then me going in front of a board and saying, oh yeah, stuff got out of hand, and then have my membership revoked because it is almost impossible to get into that range because it is so popular. Ain't happening.
And you were watching the rounds hit the
Oh
berm.
yeah, 100%. Because at the end of the day, I'm responsible for what happens. So I wouldn't let anything that's unsafe happen. It's just it
Can
would.
we just clarify one more time? You saw every single round she fired hit the berm.
Yeah, I mean that berm's probably 25, 30 feet high, and she's 3 feet tall. Like she would have to be aiming at the sky.
Okay. Very good. Outstanding. Because listen, guys, I do not mind being criticized. I really don't. But I will insist on being understood first.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? Like it's okay to disagree. I don't care if anybody disagrees with me, but let's understand what I'm doing first. And then you can disagree all you want. Like if somebody wants to go rush, try, hurry, knock yourself out. That's cool. I love that for you. I hope you have great success. Right. And if you don't want to do management, I love that for you too. I love that. You do whatever you want, but leave me alone while I'm doing whatever I want to do. Because I get the same right you do to do whatever I want to do.
Exactly.
Right? Just let me do what I want to do. If I'm going to fail, I'm going to fail. It's great. I know what I'm doing. Like, I got this, bro. I got these hand grenades. I'm going to drop them on you. I swear. I got these hand grenades. They're going to make your problems disappear. Ham, favorite moment for you?
Well, first I'd like to say, on that subject is, you take any subject in this world, and all progress in this country, in this whole world, has been made by people like you, who are willing to go against the conventional wisdom and say, F that, I'm going to do it this way and see if it works. And, they test, if it works, it works. If it don't work, then you go try something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, so your thing, you got to make T-shirts of this, Steve. I mean, seriously, it's got to be put the dot in the center of the target. That's the whole secret. I mean, it's really that simple.
That was my favorite part about Dragon beating the two fastest guys.
Yes.
He was moved to emotion because he knows he's not as fast as you guys. He knows that. And he also knows there's nothing he can do on match day to get faster. Right? That's the mistake people make. They go looking for free speed on race day. Guys, the speed is Monday through Friday. Getting out of your comfort zone, making your body do something it doesn't know how to do, doesn't want to do. Then over time, that becomes internalized.
Right.
Yeah. All right, Ham. So you were a very astute observer. What was your favorite moment of this class?
Well, my favorite was on, like Nick said earlier, when Nick finally decided to be a competitor and did that one stage backwards and kicked Major butt.
Yep.
Yes. And guys,
because he wanted to beat the arsonist really bad. You could tell then. But up until that time, I didn't think he wanted to beat him.
Oh, Nick, is he right? Did you decide to beat him?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, like, I'm not taking anything away from Mike. Mike doesn't.
Oh.
At all.
Guys, okay, we have to understand this. It's okay to want to win. It's okay to want to beat Mike. It's just not okay to hate him.
Well, no. So, like, this is
exactly.
This is how I've always explained to people: is that up here on match day, I'm a savage. But I'm not going to be an asshole. Sorry, I don't know if I can say that. But I'm not going to go up to people and during registration and say, I hope you all pack your bags early because, I'm going to take you all to school. Like that's not me. I can't do that. But up here is a totally different story.
You have to. Now, check this out. I'm going to tell you something third hand. I don't know if this is 100% true or not. So let's get that disclaimer out there. But people have told me that Robbie Latham used to park his car up on the hill, his rental car, and he would look at his squad assembling and he'd go, "Good morning, losers. Have you decided who's going to be in second place?"
I mean, that's like Larry Bird not taking off his warm-ups during the 3-point competition and just mowing everybody down.
Yeah. And I think so. Ham, over your right shoulder, are those Simpsons characters or some other piece of art?
That's me and my girl. Yeah, that's me and my girlfriend. We've been we've been Simpsonized.
That is so cool. You're not married? That's your girlfriend?
No, I'm divorced. I got divorced 5 years ago.
Guys, you want to know what else I learned about myself? I learned why I keep getting married. Like I figured it out. I was on a phone call with a very dear friend, and we're talking about traumas and life events and things of that nature. And I was like, oh my God, the reason I got married was to make my girlfriend more girlfriendy. Like I thought you had to marry the girlfriend to make her
It
more of
works.
a
It works
girlfriend.
the
I
opposite.
didn't know. Like I
It works
thought
the
you had to
opposite.
permanentize your girlfriend by marrying her. I had no idea you could just not do that. No clue. Like I'm learning so much. All right. Does anybody have anything else they want to add before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I do. So my big thing with Ham, um, I remember a long time ago when just like I said, I thought that looking at Max Michel, he's not seeing the second shot. He's just doesn't matter the distance. He's just double tapping it as soon as he can. When that light bulb moment came on for me, and I don't remember when it was. It was a long time ago, but it was awesome. When I was like, oh, I can see where the bullet goes based on where my front sight went. Like this is unbelievable. So just to see that moment made me relive that, and it made me happy for you because I experienced that, and I remember that feeling whenever I had that light bulb moment, and I was like, "Oh my, this is." I wish I wish I could bottle that, and then like,
Exactly. Yeah, that'd be cool, wouldn't it?
So Nick, that's what it's like to be me.
yeah,
Because I get to do that every single weekend.
yeah,
And my favorite moment for Ham, so much of this is so counterintuitive for him because he's been shooting under old dogma for so long.
Yeah.
But and I don't know when I earned his trust. Like sometimes people trust me when they give me money because they feel like they should, but typically I have to earn their trust. There was a moment, Ham, where we were shooting groups and I asked you to do something and you did it, and your groups went,
Yeah.
you were like you were like doing this, right? Here's this
Yeah.
grown-ass man with a girlfriend doing the whatever this is called, that made me so happy.
It was the happy dance. It was a happy dance.
And so let's talk about Chuck. Chuck is very similar. Chuck's very quiet. Chuck's a pastor, right? He was extremely open to challenging decades of not wrong shooting instruction, but like we know a better way now,
Well, he's the one that got me to go to your class.
And didn't you finally beat him on something for the first time in 30 years?
Yeah, I beat him on the one stage we did, and I had never beat him. He's always been way better than me.
Congratulations, my
He's
friend.
the one that got me to start going to classes and everything like that. Because we were in the police department and our training was freaking horrible. We were like, we need some better training. We started with revolvers and 18 rounds.
Well, that's awesome. All right, and then let's talk about. So that's Chuck. We talked about Dragon. The movement exercise with the steal and the shuffle.
Yes.
Right. You guys want to talk about that a little bit?
fat.
You do or don't?
I'm fat.
Staff?
I'm fat. I need to lose like 20 pounds.
Oh, so dude. All right. We talked about the
20
directive.
pounds. I can do that in a week.
Hang on, guys. Nick, we talked about the directive affirmation. Okay. Choose any diet plan you want. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Write the rules down of your diet plan and read them 10 times a day.
Right.
And then that's how you're going to live.
Yeah.
Seriously. The mistake I made was I wanted to see how much less beer I could drink and get to 199. Like that was me for 6 years. Well, I know it's not 12, but it might be 11, right? But when I got addicted to the lifestyle of being skinny, I became skinny so quickly. And dude, I literally just bought a pair of size small jogging pants because my mediums are too big.
Woo! Awesome.
You have to get addicted to the lifestyle. Yeah. And it's the same in shooting. If you want to be a national champion, you've got to get addicted to that lifestyle. You can't get addicted to the trophy. You got to get addicted to the lifestyle. Eric Greffel is addicted to the lifestyle of winning the world shoot. Others want it, and that's cool. It's fine to want it, but you have to get addicted to the lifestyle. That's what you have to do. Okay. So it's going to take me, actually, so let's just do this instead of, oh, wait a second. Maybe I can do it. No, I'm not going to try because we've already gone too long, but all of the movement stuff is on the YouTube video. So the YouTube video is called Best Class Ever, featuring Carol the Rockstar. The only thing that's slightly unfortunate about, like, I don't mind people bashing me. I'm used to it. It's fine. But I want to make sure that we protect Carol in all of this, right? Because she didn't need to be, like, I got accused of elder abuse. I got accused of putting her life in danger. Like, those things didn't happen. But and I'm okay, but I'm not okay with Carol having to endure this. You know, I can take it.
What's
I
elder
mean-
abuse? I don't even know what that means.
What's that?
Elder abuse.
Yeah, elder abuse is when you mistreat somebody because of their age. Like,
Aren't
typically,
you guys the same age?
huh?
Aren't you guys the same age?
No, like historically, Nick, elder abuse would be like if you were caring for your mother and just decided not to feed her, because
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I got it.
that's elder abuse.
Right.
It's the same thing as child abuse, but for old people. Let's put it that way.
Okay. I didn't see that, but
Pretty sure that's not what happened. Okay.
No.
All right, but yeah, you can go check out all the movement stuff. We cut those times pretty much in half. I remember, Nick, you got down to 3:10, I think, and we called it a win. And no, that's not right.
He was 46, 246.
Yeah, and then
240.
Mike killed it with
43.
30, either 220. I think Mike did.
230.
I think
230.
230. Yeah.
And if you want to see what we cut in half down to a 230, you can go to the YouTube video and watch it there. Now, check this out. I can't wait to get the numbers. I can't wait to see what percentage of people watch that video and completely skip all of the mental management and go straight to the shooting. Like, that's going to be funny. That's what people do. They
Yeah.
want to skip the mental game and go and get back to the shooting. And then they'll say, how much is mental? Oh, it's 90%. How much time do you, no, Nick, that was a big takeaway for you. You wrote that down.
Yeah.
The best thing about it is I don't need 90% of your budget. I need a little bit more of your time to focus on your mental game. And I'm so
Yeah.
proud of you, my friend. So proud of you, both of you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. And anybody have any last things to say? Are we good?
I just want to say a big thank you to you, Steve. I mean, really awesome moving class. I had the best 2 days in the range ever. I've been telling people that. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so that really was the best class ever. And if I ever so there were times when I had to tough love everybody a little bit. And I hope, like, on the video, I hope it looks like tough love. And it's ironic because if somebody thinks I'm being too hard, like, which is it? Am I a gentle parent or am I too tough? Like, but sometimes that's required. And especially for M's and G's, I need to let you fail sometimes, so that you understand the consequences of a poor choice. You know what I mean? It's always mental, always mental. Like Mike, you needed to get beat by Carol.
Yep.
Realize that. So once whatever we're going to call this, match mode, mental management, whatever we want to call it, once you learn it, if you choose to deviate, you will be beaten by an inferior shooter. And I wrote that in your book.
Yep.
That will happen. Okay.
Yep.
It doesn't have to. Like, I would love so much to see you guys go head to head at a big match with both of you at 100% mentally. I would love to see that because I can't bet on that.
Yep.
But if I get to read your journals before, I'll know who to bet on. Seriously, I'm being 100% serious. Right? I could literally read your journals before the match and be able to place my bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Mike, is this your first time being on a podcast?
Yeah. First time.
Nick, is this your first time?
No.
Okay. So, do you guys know the catchy catchphrase?
Sure do.
You do? Until
Yeah.
we meet again on the range, on the Zoom, in Mike Haynes' living room, examining his unusual grip, or anywhere else we happen to be. Love you. Bye. And
Get to work.
get to work, indeed. So good. I'm so happy for you. All right. Now I just do small talk till I stop the recording, and we're good. Oh, no, yeah, a little bit.